WrestleMania!
Ladies and gentlemen!
Are you ready for your moment of bliss?
Because what Poppy wants, Poppy gets.
Yowie wowie! I don't even know if that's PG! Acknowledge me! Woo! Oh, you didn't know? Well, let me tell you something, brother!
Welcome to the most must-see WWE talk show in history. Welcome to
the Cream of the Crop Wrestling Podcast.
The cream of the crop! Nobody does it better! It's still real to me, damn it!
Hello and welcome to Cream of the Crop Wrestling. This is the bottom line of WWE Friday Night SmackDown, January 13th, 2023. You're listening to the Cream of the Crop Wrestling Podcast, the podcast that will probably summon a demon if you play it backwards. We are the holy demon army of this program. I'm Patrick.
And I'm Rob, and we'd like you to embrace the kingdom of the madness by be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Pat, and still, your WWE Intercontinental Champion, Gunther.
Yeah, I still don't understand all the people that had the doubts. Like, I understand the worry. I guess I understand the worry.
Well, I mean, okay, so you've gone on record saying that you hate Gunther.
This is an absolute lie.
You've gone on record.
The record is recorded, so you can go back and check that record.
That you would much rather see just anyone carry that title.
Okay. Before we start going way too off the track here and off the rails, let's give us a word to describe the entire show.
Anticipation, man.
Oh man, we only got 2 weeks till the Rumble.
It's not even that. Like, I was waiting for this whole show for the very end. I'm like,
no, I'm saying it's only 2 weeks, and the anticipation is still killing me.
Well, I know that, but I was just talking about the whole, just the show, because I was like, is Sami Zayn getting kicked out tonight? Is Zayn gonna, like, what's that? Like, every episode, I get a pit in my stomach. I was like, this is gonna be the night. And so from here on out, it's just always anticipation.
Well, we'll definitely get there, but let's go ahead and get into it. SmackDown started with Braun Strowman versus Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. This was two beefy men slapping the man beef, and after a great finish, Gunther retains when hitting the powerbomb from the ropes for the pin. Gunther has been champion for over 214 days, actually. 2022 had some memorable title runs, and Gunther's is still going, Rob. I believe this is one of the first matches of 2023 that was definitely going to be one for the books for Gunther. What do you think?
Oh, for WWE purposes, I mean, this is, like, for his reign, this is not even close to his best match, but this was a solid match. So I don't think I've seen Braun Strowman look this good in the ring since his Roman Reigns feud back when they were doing, like, the ambulance match in 2016, I want to say it was. Like, so it's been a long time, and so credit to Strowman for carrying his end of the book. I thought this match was really, really well done. Strowman selling the arm was excellent. Ever since he's come back, while he still has done, like, Braun Strowman big man stuff, I thought he's actually progressed in the ring compared to where he was the time before, because, you know, we talked about the match with Omos, didn't expect much, and I thought they did great. He's shown some stuff with Ricochet, he's shown some stuff with a lot of wrestlers in there, and so I think this was the best match we've seen from Strowman since his first run back in the main event of 2016-2017, so kudos to both men. The ending of it just made me smile like no one's business.
I know everyone can rejoice for Gunther retaining the Intercontinental Championship, but I think even more of us can rejoice about the retirement of Braun Strowman's red pants. Next up, we see Sami Zayn, who wants to talk strategy, trying to get into the locker room, and he's looking for the Usos and Solo because he has a big match against Kevin Owens later on tonight, but Paul Heyman stops him at the door once again, being the best bouncer on WWE, and tells him, out of love, the tribal chief wants him to do this all by himself tonight. What do you think about this, Rob?
Everything just feels like a setup from here on out. Like, you can't trust anyone in this situation. This is literally the mob that we're talking about right now, where you can't trust anyone, and you just I get worried every time anyone talks to Sammy and Sammy talks to anybody. My favorite part of this, though, is I love how they greet each other. Like, does he call him Shmooly? Is that what he calls? It's like Shmooly, that kind of thing. But then, and they're smiling and this and that. But as soon as Sammy walks away, Paul Heyman's expression always changes from just happy to like complete utter disregard. Like, I don't know, I can't tell if it's sadness or if it's anger, if it's like this guy's an idiot. I'm not sure what it is, but his facial always changes. Like, if I assume everyone's watching, but if you're not, anytime Paul Heyman's in any sort of scene regarding Sami Zayn, Roman Reigns, anything like that, just watch his facial reactions in the background because they make scenes so much better. And this is one of those cases where they're happy to see each other. Sami is getting good advice from Paul, and then when he walks away, Paul just changes his whole demeanor on his face, and it's demoralizing. I'm so sad this storyline's coming to an end soon.
It's almost like you can't tell if he pities him or if he doesn't like having him around. Rey Mysterio came down to the ring and cut a promo saying he didn't have a very Merry Christmas thanks to Dominic, who's now acting like a thug because he went to jail, and Rey says as a father it breaks his heart, but as a man he's getting pretty fed up, but he's going to get back on track at the Royal Rumble, and he's interrupted here by Karrion Kross and Scarlett, who come down to the ring, and Kross asks Rey, who do you hate more, Dominic for not being like him, or does he hate himself for not being able to raise Dominic to be like Rey? Rey attacks Kross here, but Kross puts him in the Kross jacket. Scarlett holds up a tarot card with Rey's picture on it. What do you have to say about this, Rob?
Good promos by both guys here. Rey coming out, getting the bleep, or the bleep or the blur out from Fox here because he pretty much just said, I'm fed up with this bullshit. So that was, Rey always comes across as wholesome. So when you get him going on that kind of tirade, he's angry. So but I like how they're keeping him and Dom. It's a Mania match. It's one that they've been wanting probably forever before Rey finally steps away. I like how they moved him to SmackDown so that you could prolong that feud, let Dom do some other stuff and build his character, but also keeping them intertwined by just letting them talk about each other, having those videos. They're probably going to meet in the Rumble too. So, yeah, good promo by him, and I love that a lot. Karrion Kross coming out, he's been talking more when he's on TV, and it shows why he should. I think he's an excellent promo. Dude can talk his ass off, actually, and I didn't know that. Like, I didn't watch a ton of him when he was Killer Kross, so I didn't know how great of a talker he was. So I like the double storyline that they have here. All the heels say Rey's a bad dad, which probably super untrue. So that's a fun storyline. But then also they're doing like the old veteran who just needs to retire and wind down. Like they're talking about things like, yeah, Rey, you won the Rumble 17 years ago. Step aside. It's time to move on. And so I like the younger guys pointing that out of some of the older generation that's there. And so just kind of like telling the older guys, it's time to step aside, time to put the horse down, things of that nature. Only thing I dislike, and I don't know if this is a Kross and Scarlett call or if this is a Triple H call, I'm not a big fan of the tarot card thing. It's more, if they're trying to make this a top act, tarot cards are not a way for me to see them as a top act. It's a little too hokey in my opinion, but I could be just being nitpicky on that, because otherwise this whole segment was well done by both gentlemen.
Next, we go to the women's locker room where Maxine Dupree and Emma are questioning Liv Morgan about entering the Royal Rumble at number 1. Then Raquel Rodriguez walks in to say someone like Liv, her best strategy is to enter last, but Raquel is excited because she feels like she was built for the Rumble. And this is interesting because Liv then holds out her hand and says she got her palm read recently today. And then Raquel leans in to look at it, and Liv smacks Raquel across the face and challenges her to a match later on. What do you think about this, Rob?
Liv Morgan is kind of coming across as the definition of dumb. Like, I understand she's supposed to be crazy. She's supposed to be fearless, things of that nature, saying, I'm going to get number 1, be the Iron Woman of this and go on to win. And I love the comment of, wouldn't it be better to pick number 30? Yes, obviously, it would be a lot easier to pick number 30. Yeah, the whole, I love that line. I got my palm read and slap. It's very middle school, but it really worked for me here. So it's a good setup for a match that we had later on, but just little lines like that where can come across as cheesy, but for some reason and some people, it worked well, and this is one of those moments for me.
Yeah, for some reason, this worked for me as well. Like, I really like this. I really like Raquel saying she's, the biggest woman on the roster right now, and people need to start recognizing that. She needs, we've seen this as a trend where she's being disrespected, and, she does come out a little bit too smiley, but granted, she is one of the most talented women on the SmackDown roster, and she's not to be reckoned with, is she, Rob?
No, not at all. I think, I mean, we'll talk about both women. Both women, I think, are stellar in their own right. But Raquel, especially, I mean, you just got to look at her, the size, things of that nature. Like, she has, I don't like her as smiley babyface. I think she's better as badass heel Raquel. But you got to balance out the rosters. You had a heel Ronda, so, do what you do with that situation. But I think eventually down the road, if you can just get badass heel Raquel Gonzalez, or Raquel Rodriguez, sorry, gosh, man, that's a star in the making right there. Like to me, that is a push to the moon type person. So, but she's super young, she's super new. Give that time. I'm okay letting this be a baby face, let her burn for a little bit, and move on from that. So both of them, great. I am with you on this. Force to be reckoned with.
Well, our next match is Xia Li versus Tegan Nox, which was a short match with Tegan Nox avoiding a spinning kick to hit the shiniest wizard for the pin. What do you think about this match, Rob? What do you think about Xia Li and Tegan Nox finally getting a little bit of screen time here?
I like it. I think, especially, we talk about you have the Royal Rumble coming up, so you need, if you want to not have to fill it with random legends / NXT people, use those women on the roster, get them on TV as much as possible so we know who they are. So this is one of those situations where you absolutely could do it. The only thing I would have asked, and maybe I missed it, is I would have asked to have a little video recap of when Xia Li cost Tegan Nox the tag team titles a few weeks ago when she first came back. I think that would have added a little bit to this. And the match could have stayed 3 minutes. That's fine. I think for the time they got, they did a really, really well done job. But yeah, I think if you would have added that little video package, didn't have to be long, I think that could have added a little bit more element to this match. So, but the big thing right now is get as many women that are going to be in the Rumble on TV before the Rumble so that we know who they are when they come out.
Next, we get a video promo of the Viking Raiders with Valhalla making a statement for Drew McIntyre and Sheamus. We then see McIntyre and Sheamus with Adam Pearce. Drew says that they want the Viking Raiders later tonight. Then Sheamus says that those chumps can wait. They want the Usos. And they're doing this all while chopping each other in the chest like they did last week. And Pearce settles it by telling them next week starts a tournament with the winners getting a chance at the SmackDown Tag Team titles. And it starts with Drew McIntyre and Sheamus versus the Viking Raiders. What do you think about that, Rob?
I'm excited for this match. I hope they give these guys 15 to 20 minutes because it is going to be 4 large, beefy dudes just beating the holy piss out of each other. And sign me up for that, please. Just sign me up for it. So I am excited.
Let's talk about the undertone of it all, where this is the second show in a row because we just found out on Raw that, there's going to be a match for the Raw Tag Team titles. Now we got a whole tournament for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. What do you think?
I mean, hopefully they're going to get them split up here soon because I don't want to see... I'm tired of both titles being held up. So I would like to see them both on separate shows, that kind of thing. So I hope at least one of these, whether it be the Judgment Day or whoever wins this tournament, I hope one of them gets the titles off of the Usos. But at the same time, I'm a little sad too because they've made it this far. So I'm a proponent of don't lose the titles until Mania, but that's still a long way away. So whatever happens, happens. I'm excited, though, that they're being specific about it. You can defend either the Raw titles or the SmackDown titles. They are separate. I think it is just a way, though, to eventually split the titles back to separate shows.
Well, next, Bray Wyatt comes down to the ring to cut a promo, and he starts it out while sitting in a rocking chair. He started out by saying, "Green Bay, we're here." He said, "Sometimes we forget who we are and what made us. But all you have to do is revel in what you are." And he says, "I remember I am the color red in a world full of black and white. I am the eater of worlds. I am Uncle Howdy. I am him. I am everything. I am Bray Wyatt." And then he goes on and he says, "I know who I am, but who are you?" And then he tells us at the Royal Rumble it will be his true rebirth, a baptism in the dark. And as for LA Knight, know this, when the lights go out, you should run. What do you think, Rob?
This was very 2015-16 Bray Wyatt right here. So we're getting a lot of different variations of this human being in the last, since he's returned, essentially. I Am Uncle Howdy threw me for a loop because we physically saw Uncle Howdy right next to Wyatt, giving Wyatt a Sister Abigail 2 weeks ago. So that one threw me off. I do like, though, that Bray is, you can tell everything's kind of coming full circle, that he was trying to be good guy Bray, happy-go-lucky, be nice to everyone, say I'm sorry, and trying to make amends. Now you can tell, okay, something darker is seeping in and it's starting to come out, and it's a little bit more old school Bray where, revel in what you are, this is what I am. But the Uncle Howdy thing kind of threw me. Again, sit back and wait on this front. And as for the Royal Rumble match with the LA Knight, I don't expect much of a match. I expect it more to be just over-the-top theatrics and just answers, which I'm okay with. Like, I just want answers, because if it's going to be in the dark or whatever, that's all I got. But I am excited to finally get answers. We're 2 weeks away. This has been a long, long roller coaster. So we're here. I'm pumped.
I think we'll get a answer, but it will probably leave with more questions.
Yeah, I mean, well, if you think, okay, so eventually the whole thing has to be finally done and over with around Mania, right? So, like, who's Bray's, this is still what gets me. Like, you can usually kind of book out how things are going to work its way out, especially by the Rumble.
It was a total callback to Wyatt family Bray.
It was.
That's what the rocking chair. Yeah. We had the little transition, the that part at the beginning. He said, "We're here."
Yeah.
I mean, he's the eater of worlds.
Yeah.
But I mean, it wasn't even a month ago or 2 months ago where he said he's the Fiend. He mentioned the Fiend. So everything's very confusing with Bray. Like, does he really know who he is?
Well, I think that's the thing, is it's just, he's come out many times saying, I'm Bray Wyatt, and he's trying to make amends for everything, and every week that goes by,
he's all of it.
But every week that goes by is, he gets a little more darker, he gets a little bit more angry, he gets a little bit more fed up, and you see the true colors popping out, and the true colors are just a fucking mass of everything.
Well, next we see an interview with Kevin Owens where Sami Zayn steps in to interrupt. Sami tried putting the blame on KO, and he says he couldn't stay on Raw. But then Owens says he was on Raw until the Bloodline came around running their mouths. And Kevin wasn't the one that asked for the tag team match, and Kevin wasn't the one that asked for the match tonight. It's Roman that's setting up all these matches, and it's Roman putting Sami in the position being used by the Bloodline. What do you think about all this, Rob?
Kevin is just speaking the truth, man, and just really trying to seep into Sami's head, like, hey, you're not one of them. Like, you need to just wake up from the reality of the fame that you're getting and the acceptance you're getting from them, and know that it's not true acceptance. And he's saying that to him, even though he said he's done, he's over him, he just wants to move on. They've still been best friends for like 15 years, so he's just trying to help him, things of that nature. And I like seeing the look on Sami's face when Kevin tells him, I didn't ask for the match with Cena. I didn't ask for any of these matches with you. It's been Roman the entire time doing this to you and making you essentially be his little lapdog. And Sami's trying to see it as, I'm trying to prove myself. Whereas everyone else seeing it is, no, man, he's just feeding you up to the wolves. He's just making you do his own bidding. And it's just it really is like, I don't know if you ever been in a friendship relationship and that other person is starting to hang out with a group you don't like, and they're changing their personality and changing things that they do, and it's not for the better. And then you, as the original friend, are just trying to get them back. And that's what this feels like. It's just Kevin trying to get his friend back to the good side. And so it's kind of sad to see.
Well, we then get another interview, but it's from Gunther, where he tells us he has overcome his biggest challenge so far, making his claim to the Royal Rumble match and the WrestleMania main event. Rob, what do you think about this?
Oh man, we got Gunther, Roman Reigns at the main. No, he's not going to win. I hope he would, because I would just die a happy man, but it's not going to happen. At least not this year. Maybe for 2024, perhaps. But speaking of the biggest challenge, as Gunther said, A big challenge for us here at Cream of the Crop Wrestling is to grow our crowd base and to grow our fan base. And the number one way we can do that is getting all the support from the people that have already supported us. So the way to do that is to not only like on all of our social medias, we have Facebook, we have Twitter, we have Instagram, and we have TikTok. But the biggest thing you can do is just share that with friends. And then they'll share that with 2 friends. And then they'll share that with 2 friends. And then they'll share that with 2 friends. All of those links, we've made them easy for you to find too. We're not spread out over the internet. They're just right below. Just look right down. They're right there. Take those, click on the hyperlink, copy, paste it, and send it to your best friend. Say, Merry Christmas. Sorry I forgot to get you something. Better late than never. And they'll say thank you. They'll say thank you for that. So please, here at Cream of the Crop Wrestling, do us a favor. Help us build this program so that we can bring you more content. We love you all. Thank you.
Well, next up is our next match, Liv Morgan versus Raquel Rodriguez. And after slapping the words out of Raquel's mouth earlier in the night, Liv Morgan got the win knocked out of her, with Raquel winning after hitting the Takana Bomb for the pinfall. Rob, what do you think about this match?
Match itself was fine. There's some things here. So I do like Crazy Liv. I think Crazy Liv is a better character than what she had before, just because it just is with her.
She went for the table again, Rob.
That's what threw me off. I think she's trying to do more to let everyone know she is crazy and willing to do more to suffer her own body and others than it is, more importantly, to win matches. And I think that's going to cost her a little bit down the road. So that was the one thing that I did not understand.
It's probably going to cost her at the Royal Rumble, you could say.
Yeah, I highly think that's what's going to happen. I think there's going to be many times where Liv Morgan is going to do almost the Mankind Mick Foley thing, not to that extent, but where she will do more harm to herself than good, which is going to cost her more matches than give her victories.
Classic tale of writing checks that you're behind just can't cash.
Completely agree on that one. But this match itself was a solid match, and like we talked about before, I think we both think Raquel is a star in the making. So I hope eventually it kind of starts, putting that rocket to her. Not yet. Give it a little bit of time, but I hope that rocket eventually gets up her ass and just.
You don't think she's going to be a dark horse in the Royal Rumble?
Oh, I think she could be. No. I think there's only about 5 women that could actually win the Rumble, and she is on that short list. Because I think her and Charlotte, they look wonderful on a poster together.
Well, speaking of women on the short list to win the Royal Rumble, we get a segment next from Sonya Deville trying to get a rematch against Charlotte, but Adam Pearce denies her the match, and Sonya mocks Pearce by saying, what should she do? Just enter the Royal Rumble and earn the title shot? And Pearce just says, yeah. Sonya leaves, and then later, right after, we see Sonya attacking Charlotte backstage. So I can't tell if this is her going to get that push for that title match she was just asking for, and she's going to end up in that match, and then probably just end up in the Royal Rumble anyways. But, I mean, as far as short list of dark horses to win the Rumble, I wouldn't mind if you were to have someone to win the Rumble to go to Mania and lose.
I don't hate that. If you guys have been listening to us at all, you know we're both big Sonya Deville marks. Like we love ourselves some Sonya. But man, didn't she just lose last week to Charlotte? And wasn't it like clean? Yeah. So to me, that's one of those cases where I'm just like, look, you lost. I enjoy that they're trying to create a small rivalry to kind of keep going forward, because Charlotte does need something to do while she does await her Mania opponent. But yeah, Adam Pearce had the proper answer. Like, no, I'm not going to just give you this match. You just lost. So how do you get that match? You go back in the Rumble. Now, Sonya's doing the smart thing, though. If she can't get the match with Adam by asking, just go attack Charlotte and make Charlotte mad enough to where Charlotte's going to call you out and say, I'll give you a match. To me, that's always the smarter move than to go to the commissioner, is piss off the person you want to have a match with to where they're going to challenge you.
Especially a commissioner you've had a rivalry with in the past, Rob, such as Sonya Deville and Adam Pearce. I mean, those two have never gotten along.
That part is true. And I think especially right now, because Sonya is a wrestler again, as opposed to just being a commissioner. So now there's kind of a dual role there as well. And I think I complained about Adam Pearce a lot on Monday. I wish he would be as stern with the bloodline as he is with everyone else. I just wish he would be. So I don't understand his power trips that he has with some people. With some people he's just awful with. So, again, run a tighter ship, sir. But as I said, I think that's the best route to go. I think Sonya's doing the right thing. Adam said no, that I have to win the Rumble. But if I just go and attack Charlotte, I'm going to make Charlotte want to challenge me, and then I got my shot.
Well, next up in our main event of the night, it was Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. And this was a great match that came down to Sami building the momentum to set up for the Helluva Kick. And then this match was pretty even throughout and looked in doubt at times for Sami. But before he could hit the Helluva Kick, the Usos and Solo attack Owens. So KO wins by disqualification. Sami was confused by the attack, but the Usos says this is for him, and they played it all like this was the plan all along. Sami was clearly out of the loop here, Rob. What do you think?
Match-wise, these two, it's impossible for them to have a bad match together. I don't like disqualification matches, but this one is perfectly okay, especially when it revolves around this amazing storyline that's happening. So this one gets a huge pass.
Talk about the finish. You don't like the disqualification finish?
No. This one I do. Most of the time I hate disqualification finishes because I think it's a cop-out. This one, it fits perfectly with the storyline. So this, completely agree with the decision on that one. So match-wise, it is a Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn match. You're going to get the Blue Thunder Bomb. You're going to get reverse exploder suplex. All the was it a brain buster that was on the apron?
Yeah, I don't think they've ever had a bad match together.
Yeah,
I mean, this one is a little. You could say it's a little like you said, anticipation. You don't quite get that. You don't get that payoff here like you need. Like you need someone to get that win. And that disqualification here, I mean, it makes sense storyline-wise. Because you don't want either one of these guys to lose.
Right,
But, man, between the matches between these two, oh, man. I mean, I understand it's hard for you to pick a favorite on who's better. But, man, oh, man, these guys can tear it down together, can't they?
Oh, my gosh, they can. If anyone hasn't, I would say there's probably 100 matches between these two out there in the world that you can go watch. Personal favorite of mine. Now, granted, I have not gone and watched all the ROH stuff that they did together, PWG, things of that nature. But my personal favorite, I think it was Battleground 2017, maybe 2017 or 2016. Dude, what a match! Like what a freaking match that they had there. So that's the one to go back if you guys want to go watch a full match without interruption, without commercials or DQ finish, anything like that. The ending here, let's just talk about the important stuff. The ending here with the Usos coming out and not only Sami was about to win. He had Owens in a prime position for the Helluva Kick to get that victory. And the Bloodline just interrupted that for no purpose whatsoever except to just beat up Kevin Owens when they could have just done it after the pin. So now
stepping on his toes here a little bit.
Yeah, so Sami's getting that look in his face that says, A, no one told me about this. And then B, also upset because dude was about to win. Dude was about to get a victory. And they just took that away from him. And so I am more curious on what Sami, because Sami's not a person that's not going to not say what's on his mind. He has word vomit. And so next week, when they get the chance, Bloodline's probably going to start the show. Probably going to be some sort of promo. I am very curious on if that's the moment Sami Zayn is going to be asking everyone, like, hey, why'd you do this?
Well, my little cream cups, that's our program. You can embrace the madness by leaving a like and a comment on this video. Go over to our YouTube channel and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to stay up to date on our content. Check out our TikTok and follow us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. You can find our podcast on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. All the links are in the description below. Until next time, I'm Patrick.
And I'm Rob.
And we thank you for listening to Cream the Crop Wrestling Podcast. Good night.
Thank you for listening to Cream of the Crop Wrestling. You can embrace the madness by finding us on Facebook at facebook.com/creamofthecropwrestling. Follow us on Twitter at creamofthecropw. Subscribe to our YouTube channel by typing Cream of the Crop Wrestling in the search bar. Have fun with us on TikTok at Cream of the Crop Wrestling. And you can always find full episodes of the podcast wherever podcasts are found.
Nothing means nothing.
Nothing means nothing. What do you mean by that?
More, I'm talking about all the way to the top, yeah. Unjustifiably in a position that I'd rather not be in. But the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah. You know that I'm the cream of the crop. The cream of the crop. Nobody does it better. Oh yeah.